Dave Duford here at DIG Agency. It's a pleasure to have you on another Ask Me Anything live training. We're here on YouTube as well as Zoom and our insurance sales success group. It's a pleasure to have everybody. So the purpose of this live training on YouTube is very simple. It's to answer any questions that you have about anything insurance, sales, and marketing related. You're welcome to ask me about anything about the DIG agency, about what we do, how we operate. I'm happy to tell you how things have dramatically changed over the last couple of months. If you've looked at us in the past, feel free to let me know if you're interested. Also, our services and products like our DIG Dialer, DIG CRM, and our FE Leads Direct Lead Management System. Lots to tell you about if you're interested. And of course, any sales and marketing questions as it relates to anything related to selling or marketing for insurance. It could be questions about sales, objection handling, overcoming adversity, how to run your business successfully, advice, guidance on what I've learned since 2011 being in the business. This is pretty much an open-ended training with the sole intent of helping you, the insurance agent. Of course, I'll be remiss to say that if you are interested in learning more about the DIG agency and how it works, it's pretty simple. Just go to davidduford.com. You'll see more about how our free lead organization works, how our many case studies and success stories spell out the opportunity here at the DIG agency. And you can also learn about our products and services too as well. So getting started, real simple here to get going. What you want to do, if you have questions, since most of you are live in YouTube, or if you're watching this, say, on a recording, you can put your questions in the comments below. But if you're watching this live, please use the live chat feed. I will see that and answer any questions that you have. So you are welcome to begin asking questions. Let me just do one more thing here, and I will be happy to answer them. Also, if you don't mind, please consider hitting the thumbs up button, the like button, that helps YouTube share this content to other insurance agents like you who desperately need to hear this, who maybe not be getting any training or support whatsoever. So do your part if you feel the need to and hit the like button. Okay. Hey, Tom, good morning or afternoon, whatever time it is. Hey, go Diego. Do we have any Spanish leads? No, we don't. The reason being is I think we looked into it at one point, and the problem we have is that it's hard to find enough Spanish speaking agents that can keep up with the amount of leads that are out there. Whereas 95% of your leads, 95% of your agents on that behalf are English speaking. And many of your Spanish speakers are English speakers as well. And then we have people in our agency who speak Spanish, although they predominantly work English leads. So it all kind of works itself out. Whoops, sorry about that. We don't really generate a ton just because of the perceived difficulty of running the operations behind it. Doesn't mean that it's not a good opportunity. It is. From a free lead standpoint for us, we've just avoided it because it adds another layer of complexity into the mix that already is a complex process. So, but otherwise, I've heard of definitely organizations who do free leads, or excuse me, Spanish speaking leads, and do very, very well. So again, if you guys have your questions, you guys are just getting in here, so feel free to throw your questions in the chat. I will be happy to address any questions, concerns about selling insurance successfully, marketing successfully, etc. Excuse me. I will mention this just to fill up some time while I wait on the questions to come into the chat. We've just rolled out a brand new product. Let me see if even the website is up. It's called the DIG Dialer. You can try digdialer.com if you're watching this in the future. It is up. Let me go ahead and show you just a little teaser about what it is and how it works. So I'm going to figure out how to share my screen, but because I am 40 now, I am basically a boomer. So my technology skills aren't that great. So let me show you my screen here. Yeah, so digdialer.com. This is a new service that we're offering. This is actually the dialer we use in the free lead program. If you guys are looking to apply to join the DIG agency, you can learn about it here, but don't pay for it because we give that to you for free. But this is for anybody that's running a small agency or perhaps as an individual agent that wants a great dialer that is unlike and completely better than everything else that is out there, including anything I've ever promoted in the past. So a little bit of background about this. So this dialer is called Convoso. You can look it up online if you'd like to. See if I can pause that. Of course, we don't pause it. Um, Convoso is a call center quality dialer that is excellent in getting more of your leads to connect and getting more of your leads into a presentation. Our connection rate increased by 300% using this dialer, which means out of the leads, we now contact or talk to 300% more. It's an incredible piece of software. The problem is that if you are an individual agent, you cannot buy this under the normal direct purchase from Convoso. They require 20 people minimum, a large startup fee in order to even begin to use them. So what we've done is come to market with an opportunity to use this service, even if you're an individual agent, for a price, so that you can leverage the same amazing capabilities that Convoso has inside of the DIG Dialer, which is our self-branded version of Convoso. So again, why get this dialer? Why is it better than the rest? Because the technology behind it, automations, artificial intelligence, et cetera, bottom line gets more of your leads to pick up the phone, and so that you have more opportunities for presentations. Perfect example. Our agents, before we implemented this, the really good ones needed 40 to 45 hours a week to sell 10 to 15 policies. The same exact agents, after initiating this dialer, same dialer that you have access to if you'd like to purchase it, went from 40 to 45 hours of calling down to 25 hours a week calling for the same amount of volume. So in other words, their rate of success in selling almost increased by 100%, a little shy than that. But otherwise, they're selling more policies faster because of this incredible dialer. Also, that means you don't need as many leads, arguably, because you're connecting to more, and where maybe you had to buy triple the amount of leads to have the same amount of connections, because in this case, in our case, it went up to a 300% connection rate improvement. That means we didn't necessarily have to buy as many in order to have the same potential for sales success. So this is something I'm like, out of all the things that we did last year, this is one of the most powerful pieces of equipment and services that we implemented in the DIG Free Lead Agency. And I'm super excited to offer this to small agencies out there or individual agents. And again, to be 100% clear, you do not have to join the DIG Agency to utilize this. But if you do join the DIG Agency, you get it for free as a free lead agent. And again, you can find out more at digdialer.com. And I can answer any questions you guys have. Okay. Have you totally, hey, Linda, how have you totally discontinued face-to-face sales? So, face-to-face sales, I didn't leave face-to-face sales. Face-to-face sales left me. Here's what I mean. Um, since COVID started, the rate in which agents want to sell in person has dropped off the cliff. We used to be 100% strictly face-to-face sales until about 2020 in March or April, when it was clear the coronavirus hysteria wasn't going to stop anytime soon, and there was enough fear around it that people didn't want to go into people's homes. And so we made a pivot strategically to move to telesales and away from face-to-face. Since then, and as the hysteria and the concern with COVID winded down, my expectation was to see more face-to-face activity. But that had not been the case. Onward into 23 and even 24, the amount of people wanting to sell face-to-face was never more than probably 5%, maybe 10% of our total application volume. So for example, if I had 200 applications in a month, maybe 10 of those would want to do face-to-face. And not all of the people applied we'd either accept or would end up joining. So the flow of face-to-face agents just never was up to the scale as to where the telesales agent interest was. So from a business standpoint, what we decided to do, because the market for face-to-face agents wasn't there, and telesales is great anyway, is that we pivoted and stopped taking face-to-face agents. That's probably been maybe 6 months, maybe 9 months even, till we just totally shut down face-to-face because we were getting 5 or less a month. It was just terrible. So yeah, other than that, I still believe in face to face. I think it's arguably probably better than it ever has been because it just isn't as many agents in the market. Most of the organizations now recruit agents to sell remotely, not in person. And so I think if you are built for, excuse me, a more traditional approach to selling face to face, then this is a great opportunity to do it. I have friends in the business that are definitely doing this, that are being successful. It comes with its pros and cons, just like everything else. But for the sake of how we wanted to pivot and position the DIG agency, we decided that we had to get rid of things as well as focusing on a core activity. And for us, that was jettisoning basically anything other than final expense telesales, including face-to-face sales. Thanks, Linda. Okay. Lori, hey, I'm actually in DIG right now, waiting on some licensing. Good. Quick question regarding sponsorship of other agents and if there is a comp plan in place for that. So you're saying you have some agents you want to refer in to join? If that's the case, Lori, what I want you to do is reach out to me and we'll go over kind of what the options are. Basically, what we're looking at, shoot me an email. We don't really have a formal plan set up, but we've talked about it significantly over the past month or two. So have a conversation with me. Any emails you get from me, just reply back and say, hey, Dave, it's Lori, talk to you on YouTube. Here's what I was talking about. And then give me some context, and then I'll be happy to address it. Check the Zoom room here. Hey, Zoom room. Okay. Hey, Jenna. Hey, I'm looking at this part-time as a part-time opportunity. And yes, just real quick out the gate, we take part-timers and full-timers at the DIG agency. We used to not take part-timers, but we've had agents write 10 plus apps on 20 to 25 hours on the dialer. And to me, part-time should be no less than 15 to 20 hours, closer to 20 than 15 hours of dial time on the dialer a week. So if you can't do that, I would highly not recommend joining my agency, but I want to see closer to 15 to 20 hours. You can divvy that up however you want to. You can do it over the course of 3 or 4 days for 4 or 5 hours. It's completely fine with me. You can work late. You can work really early. You can work weekends. We don't tell you when to work because you're a 1099 contractor. You have full control of your schedule, but there's a lot of opportunity to work and get those hours in so you can kind of make it fit with your primary profession. Would you say more success is talking to leads in the evening, morning, into afternoon? Yeah, that's a great question. I have always thought anecdotally, you're going to get more success if you talk to talk to your clients after 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. However, if you look at our sales history, there are people who make sales first thing in the morning and throughout the morning. So for me, I'm less inclined to say this is the magical time to sell. I would probably say, let me put it this way, to expose yourself to the best leads possible, it's better to work when other agents aren't, which typically means end of the week, Thursday nights, Friday nights, especially, as well as on weekends. So it's less about when will your clients pick up as it is more about when are there less agents to compete with the available leads, right? Because we prioritize successful agents who are on the dialer who can take a phone call over the agents who aren't as successful, who aren't as proven. It's how everybody does it. If they don't in this business, they're missing out on money and it doesn't make sense. So there is a sense of it's a meritocracy, a system of meritocracy. So you can play the game by working in those times when we normally don't have people, which include Friday nights, Saturday, especially Saturday nights, even Sundays. So those are the times when I think you'll have access to the freshest leads. And in some cases, people I think are a little nicer on Saturdays and Sundays. In addition, would Saturday have to be a definite day to call in order to have success? So, I mean, for me, it was, Jenna, I worked part-time Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays back when I started in 2011. I worked full-time, including Saturdays, for many years because for me, I wanted to make sure that every minute of my life I could contribute towards being successful as much as possible. This business has razor thin margins of success. The nature of it is just the way it is. It is what it is. And so what I was most concerned with in the beginning, just to tell you my story, was how could I not become a statistic? And part of that was working as much as humanly possible. Now, we all have our restrictions. When I started part-time, I had a personal training gym. But when I wasn't working, I was finding ways to work then. And personal training was like It's like 11 or 12 o'clock start time to about 7 or 8, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then Saturdays was either the same or all day and then till like 8, 9, or 10 o'clock at night. For me, I was determined to get out of personal training. So I put the extra effort in. And I think that always pays off. And again, that's kind of how you should be thinking in a grander vision is how do I not become a statistic? Part of it is working as much as your schedule allows and doing things that other people won't. A lot of people won't work weekends, late nights, so on and so forth. And those are ways that you can get leverage and better odds of success. Hey, you're welcome. All right, back to the chat. Let's see here. Hey, Lauren, how much money do you suggest be kept in escrow for potential chargebacks? It really depends. I think in general, anytime that you're in a straight commission opportunity, which is ours, you should always spend way less than you think you should on your personal household income needs. In other words, you want to live frugally because anytime that you're in a profession where you eat what you kill and you wake up unemployed the next morning because you're only as good as the next sale. The more money and bankroll you have, the better. Now, for me, I mean, I didn't have the luxury of having a bunch of money sitting in the bank account when I started. Like I needed to make money yesterday. So understand I'm giving you like best case scenario, but you can certainly start off with circumstances that aren't as ideal. But what you said here, what do you need? I mean, 25% to 20% of your business is going to fall off. At what point, I don't know. I'm more concerned about can you save a third to a half of your income that comes in from sales and not touch it and build a bankroll that way. Because the way chargebacks work is typically your new sales cover the chargebacks that occur. So you don't really have to dip into your reserve account, but you still want to have a reserve account because you're straight commission anyway. So for me, the bigger picture is how can I ensure for the next 6, 12 months of your career that you live on as meagerly as possible and save up as much of your commissions as possible in order to maximize your chances of success and then getting through the ups and the downs of the business. New agent here. Do you recommend using a dialer or should I wait to get more experience? You should absolutely use a dialer right away, Mike. And you bring up a really good question. Let me explain to you the realities of dialing in this market now. So everybody has one of these things, right? Life using this thing like it traditionally was, talking to people is miserable. Most of our clients, as well as us watching, constantly get phone calls. We don't know who they're from. Half of them are scams. Most of them is spam. And what do most of us do with phone calls? We don't pick them up. We screen that phone call and see, is this somebody I should listen to or not? And carriers realize that this is actually a bad thing for their devices. This is a phone, it's not a keyboard. I mean, it's become that. But the initial purpose of this device was to talk to people. And the experience of talking to people on a traditional approach is miserable. And it's become a pain. And then you know what? Now, why does that matter? Because what the carriers now have instituted are algorithms and processes to judge if a call that's coming to the customer's phone is legit or likely spam or a telemarketing call in an effort to downregulate the amount of just junk people get on a constant basis. The impact to us is that assuming we're legitimately generating leads and doing so compliantly and following the rules, they requested information that we cannot give to them because the carriers put up guardrails and really just impediments to even connecting with the client to deliver them the information and hopefully sell them, right? We're not like a cold call or some scam in, India or Pakistan trying to rip our clients off of money. We're legit. So the impact of all this is that if you sit here and dial like 100 numbers on your phone in a day, the carriers that all receive this will take note that you're probably a telemarketer and will begin to show telemarketer likely every time that your phone dials. And your connection rates, the ability of you connecting to your clients will drop to just a terrible level, meaning you get on the phone with less of your prospects and less of your leads. The solution is to use a dialer, back to the original point. A dialer, a smart dialer, like the DIG dialer, digdialer.com, actively scrubs, cleans, and refreshes phone numbers to eliminate the spam likely and scam likely stuff to ensure that you're talking to more of your actual leads. The other thing that it does very well is that if you're in a situation where the voicemail picks up and you're dialing a couple lines at a time, you will never ever hear that voicemail. And because this happens all the time in other dialers, you'll have a voicemail pickup, then the other line picks up, and that was actually a real person, and now you've lost the opportunity, and it's very frustrating. With the DIG dialer, you're able to do this and never, well, I say never, but 95 to 98% of the time, never listen to voicemails and only talk to real life people, which means you actually connect to more of your calls. It's incredibly powerful. And then there's other technology, like if the dialer detects that the phone is out of the country, likely means they're on vacation or not in a position to buy. So it skips over that number entirely. Um, so in other words, you have to have a dialer. If you're doing any kind of prospecting on the phone, a dialer is going to connect you with more of your leads than using your phone ever would. So whether it's my dialer or another one, you got to have one, in my opinion. It's really, you have to think of the investment in the dialer as it's a way to make more money. It really is. And without it, you just don't. Excuse me. Okay. I need to renew my license. What study guide do you recommend? Yeah. Hey, Thomas. So I'll go into a couple of things because this covers a few things. So if you're renewing your license because it's about to expire, then I recommend eoforless.com. Let me throw that in the chat. I like it a lot. eoforless.com. You can get, no, wrong one. That's for errors and omissions. Excuse me. Webce.com is where you get cheap continuing education. You need 24 hours in most states. You can get it for like 60 to 80 bucks max and be done with it in record time. And then get those submitted to the states, then pay your re-up fee for the states that you have, and you're back in golden. Got to do that every 2 years, guys. So make sure you stay up on top of that. If you had your license, you let it lapse, and now you need it back, and you're basically taking the test, or maybe you're a brand new agent or thinking about getting in and wondering the same thing. Well, how can I get study? Then there's two programs you can look at. Excel training. Look that up on Google. I don't have the exact website. And what's the other one? ExamFX. We have a discount for ExamFX and Excel at davidduford.com/ISS in the classroom section. This is a totally free, no cost membership where we have tons of free insurance sales and marketing training. Once you register there, click classroom and look at like new agents start here, and there's a discount for both of those. So you have to take the pre-licensing exam. Once you pass that, then you can take the exam and then pay a bunch of money along the way to different entities in the government, and then eventually get your license. All right. Okay. Let me check the Zoom here if there's any questions. Awesome. Hey, Gianna. I'm sure Gianna. I keep thinking Deanna. It's Gina, right? All right. What if we pay the E&O up front for the year? Do we still have to? No, if you already have E&O, you don't have to pay it again. So we require agents, in other words, if you're wondering what this means, to have errors and omissions insurance as general liability. Think about like professional insurance, right? It's typically $400-ish a year, or about 40 bucks a month. If you already own a private policy, you don't have to get a new one. Right? Hey, Jacqueline, for a new agent that is licensed and has never had a sale, what would you recommend in training? Basically the same training. I mean, in some ways, I don't want to sound like if you have experience, we don't want you. We absolutely do. We'll take anybody that is willing to go through the process that we outline. But a new agent is kind of like a blank slate. There's no pre-existing beliefs or limiting beliefs. As long as you're coachable and humble and willing to do what we tell you, even if it seems off, we never ask you to do anything unethical. But sometimes it seems strange. But if you trust the process and do what we say, many times untrained, inexperienced agents have the best opportunity to learn because they don't have things like, well, we didn't do it that way over here, right? So what do you do to learn and train the best? You listen to top producer sales calls. You rehearse the script dozens of times. You listen to your rehearsal on recording to hear how you sound and think constructively about how you can make it better. And then you learn the applications and how to complete applications so that they get submitted and approved as you applied for, which is what we do with everybody. But certainly for new agents, it's really important to get the sales pitch down for sure. And the app process part. By the way, if you're watching you on YouTube, hit the like button, please. That helps share this content across YouTube so that other agents like you will watch it. Again, hit the thumbs up, like button. Okay. Tell me the difference about y'all and Ideal Concepts. Hey, Krista, I don't really know what Ideal Concepts does, so I'd be unfair if I made a comparison. I can tell you what we do and at least assist you on doing your due diligence. So we specialize in final expense, telesales only. And what makes us different is we provide fresh leads and some age leads, but no more than a couple of months, and a ton of training, a ton of support. And you have the ability with us to, if you want to, change from free leads to buying your own to elevate your commission. You would have to pay the cost of the systems that we would allow you to use, our free lead systems, but on a personal basis, as you develop as an agent. So that program to going to what we call a broker, higher commission contract, is something you can determine on your own time. We'll counsel you and help you along. But to me, the main reason you would work with us is that you like the sound of selling insurance, but you're afraid that the risk is too big. And many times people grandly underestimate the risk associated with this business and the losses of money on leads that are not good, not being trained well enough, and certainly on chargebacks and these kind of things. So when you work with us, the biggest benefit is you're using my money to let you try out the business with minimal risk, okay, much less than what you would do on your own. But also having the opportunity to put yourself in a position to get the best training, the best support, and the best longer term opportunity if you decide to, you want to buy your own leads at a higher commission contract. So that would be how I would position what we do as kind of our selling point. If you want more details, if you go to davidduford.com, watch that overview video. That'll give you the rundown on how everything works. And then below that are 200 plus testimonials and a dozen case studies of successful agents. All right. Commission only for your, yes, yes. Hey, Tony. Yeah, we do not have a salary plus bonus. I don't believe in that for life insurance because you're likely going to get really docked on your commission. Um, you just aren't, you're going to have, if you're any good at this business, you're never going to maximize your income potential. You do trade off a lot of risk though, right? If you're getting a guarantee on income. But the truth is that if you're no good as an agent, your upline's going to can you anyway, in short order. So I don't think that the wage, no agency is going to give you 6 months to get your act together, much less 3. So I think it's better to have the better thing to think about as a new agent is how can I eliminate the biggest risks? And the biggest risks in this business is chargeback risk as well as lead risk. Lead risk is probably the biggest thing. And with us, the chargeback risk is mitigated for sure, but there's no cost for leads, and that's huge. Okay. Do your agents have to be captive? We only work with agents who are 100% committed to us on the final expense side. Let me rephrase. That didn't quite come out like I intended it to. If you're going to do business with us, you have to do all of your final expense business with us. We can't have you with some of your final expense with us and then somewhere else. If we're providing you leads, there's a risk or a temptation for an agent to place that business somewhere else, effectively stealing from us. And imagine if you're in this business and you spend all this money and time and pay all this labor to run a business, and these agents will carelessly, thoughtlessly do business elsewhere. So you have to trust but cut the cards. In other words, you can't let agents have final expense outside of us. We do release if it doesn't make sense and it isn't a good fit. So we're happy to let you go if that's the case, as long as you don't owe chargeback money. But you're also allowed to keep your Medicare, ACA, annuity business elsewhere. We don't require every living contract on the face of the planet. So hopefully that makes sense. I can expand on that if you want to. What is the name of the dialer? DIG dialer. Beatrice, hope you're doing all right. digdialer.com. Darlene. Hey, Darlene. Just making it. Taking my Kentucky test this month. Cool. Ballpark time frame to begin. Yeah, as soon as you get your license or your NPN, that's your national producer number, then apply, please. And then in a couple of days, we'll reach out by then, give you the next steps to getting started. And then you can begin the onboarding process as well as learning the sales and marketing and the carrier training so that you can be sales ready, typically within a couple of weeks of being invited to join. That's the goal. So some agents take longer than that. That's fine with us, but the soonest you could probably get started and be competently ready is 2 weeks after you're accepted to join. Hey, Leonard, what's going on? Thank you. Hey, Diego, in the training phase, do we start dialing on week one? No, you don't dial until you have gone through the scripts, the trainings, all that stuff. We want you to be prepared. You're never going to be perfectly prepared. I mean, you have to jump in at some point and just kind of like take the punches on the chin to learn how to deal with them, right? So, but we don't want to throw you in like without learning at least the basics, right? So it's typically a couple of weeks before we then let you on the dialer to start dialing. I just passed my California Life LNH exam. We've met via Zoom in the past. I'm considering joining. If your current criteria for joining is still $1,000 and not being a jerk. Yes, correct. That is 100% right. You do have to get approximately another $1,000 in non-resident licenses. We require that because in order for us to do lead generation effectively, we need to have multiple states, not just your home state. We would pay out the nose for leads, couldn't pay the good commissions that we do, and it wouldn't be a functional business model. So we do require that additional non-resident license fee. All right. Questions, throw them in the chat. Happy to answer them for you. All right. Let's go back to the Zoom here. For a new agent, hey, Jacqueline, that is licensed but has never had sales. Okay, we answered that. Does your contract have a non-compete clause? Jenna, no, it doesn't. We have a non-solicit clause, which means you can't call on the book of business. It is our book of business. You're writing the business off of the leads and the systems we provide you for free. So the book retains to the DIG agency. So if you end up leaving, you can't call those clients. That's what you sign off. That's what non-solicitation means. You also cannot take agents with you to another agency or employees with you elsewhere. So that is completely legit. Most companies have that in our space as well as in other industries. Non-competes don't hold up though. I don't do non-competes. That was offered to me by the lawyer, and I just kind of said, it's stupid. Like I can't prevent an agent from their livelihood. Now I have competitors in the space that have very large YouTube channels that have non-competes in their agreement. And I had one agent was like, I can't write this piece of business for 5 years. And I'm like, what do you mean, this carrier? It's like, well, look here in the non-compete. And sure enough, it was a 5-year non-compete, which to me is just like you cannot do your livelihood for 5 years. Like a judge would throw that out of court. They'd laugh it out of court. So, and there was an initiative to end the non-competes at the government level and then make it retroactive. I think that got stayed or stalled somewhere. But there's a lot of people think the same way. It's prohibitive towards business in a lot of capacities. But in short, no, there's no non-compete with us. Just watched 1 hour scale my social and was wondering what parameters an independent free leads to forward agent should achieve for generating their own leads at $1,500 a month. So $1,500 a month is if that is the ad spend, that's way too low. You're talking about $375 a week. That ain't nothing. You won't get 50 leads at that rate. And if you do, they're like junk leads. Try doubling that at a minimum. Okay. The other thing, Paul, is the thing that we want. We don't have an arbitrary requirement of how long you need to be a free lead agent, free go broker, but we're going to give you some real advice on what you're about to get into. A lot of people don't understand, excuse me. A lot of people don't understand that when you switch from free leads to broker, you now shoulder this multi-$1,000 debt. And what most agents don't understand is the psychological impact it has on your performance and the way that you run your business. It messes with you a lot. If you have a bad week and you're down $1,000, if your weekly ad spend is $1,000. So we want you to be financially comfortable, to have a significant amount of money set aside. I mean, we're talking 6+ months of living expenses at a minimum. We want you to have some experience so that when you make the transition, it's not going to be like you're brand new to the business and don't know nothing. You actually have a track record of success, some wisdom, some street cred so that you can make it through the tough times and really understand what you're getting into. We're not standing in the way like we used to of it, but we're being very honest with you about what to expect. Again, I can think of several agents who left us because of our stupid comp schedule change that we did, and I've backed off of that, and we're back to much better commission opportunity now. Who left us over that, who went broker, and I can think of like out of the 4 or 5 that are coming back, like 3 or 4 of them are going free leads, and these are people who are successful and made good money. So what's the point of all this? The point is that even the very successful agents had a hard time switching and went back to free leads. This is a common occurrence in this business. So not to discourage you, but to be honest with you, we don't want you to fail this business because you take a risk that's too tough to swallow. Does that make sense? So we'll help you out. I'll personally help you out. Tim will, the team will, etc. All right. Questions back to the chat. And guys, if thank you for being here. If you're new, hit the like button. That helps share this stream to other people that are out there in the insurance sales space. Other agents can look and watch this. So thank you for doing that. If you've got questions, if you're joining us live, this is Ask Me Anything about insurance sales, marketing, etc. Throw your questions in the chat. I'll certainly answer them. Be here for the next 20 minutes or so. One follow-up, please, for Darlene. She says, within that 2 to 3 week onboarding, are we securing the additional state non-resident license? You purchase all that before you get into the onboarding process, so you've already spent the money on that, and then it's going to take a week, maybe 2 weeks to get all the licensing done. So it's all happening while you're training. We don't want to wait 2 weeks before you're licensed, then get you into training. That's too long. We want you to get the licensing transacted, and while that's processing and finalizing, to start the sales training part. So that in total, it's 2 or 3 weeks before you're. Hey, inadvertently, 11111 Mort. You inadvertently skipped the question about the number of states to be. Oh, I did, didn't I? Yes, I did. It's like 12. Let me go through the list for mentally. It's Texas, Florida, Georgia, North and South Carolina, Tennessee, Mississippi, Missouri, Ohio, Michigan, and there's 2 more I'm forgetting. I don't remember them. Maybe Kentucky, maybe Virginia. I don't really remember. There's 12 of them. I just gave you 10 for sure. You buy those at the time that you're accepted. You can start buying these if you want to, but it's not going to speed up your contracting. And if for some reason we don't take an agent on, we don't want you to buy all this stuff before you join and then get mad at us if we didn't take you for some reason. Hopefully that makes sense. And an adjunct to that question, in what states do you recommend the contract? And hopefully those, so if you're joining the free lead agencies, that's what I would recommend. We used to do California. The problem with California is that it takes up to 2 months to get licensed. And we had agents just stalling out in contracting for something they have no control over. So we just chucked California. Unfortunately, it's a good state for final expense. The policy sizes are higher because the household incomes are better, but it just took too long. All right. Can I build a team under the DIG agency? Potentially, yes. There's different opportunities to do so. Right now we centralize and centrally control everything, the training, the support, the leads. But there is an opportunity that we will consider opportunities to build underneath the DIG agency utilizing our system. So that is something definitely happy to talk about as you get into the system. Now, what we don't want to do is recruit people who don't have experience to start recruiting other people and use our system, but then recruit and spend that time doing that versus selling. With us, you join to sell insurance and get good at it before you start recruiting. Tamara, hey, I want to get my electronic fingerprints taken to prepare to get my Florida license to join your agency. My fingerprints were rejected. What can I do? I want to work with you and I know I need a Florida license. Interesting. I would go ahead and apply. We'll work with you on that. That's unusual. The only thing I can think of is you didn't submit it correctly. or you have a felony or some background issue. But if they reject your fingerprints, I don't think they would reject your license application if it was a felony issue. So it sounds like a formatting problem. So what I would recommend is I would call the State Department of Florida Insurance, and then I would say exactly what happened. Why did my fingerprints get rejected? How can I get appointed? I'm joining a company and they need me to sell Florida. And they'll hopefully give you some guidance. That sounds a bit unusual. But otherwise, yeah, just reach out to me and Marty. Any of the emails we get, we'll see what we can do in the meantime to work with you because I know this is unusual. Okay. Is the criteria for joining still $1,000 and not to be a jerk? Yes, yes, yes. It is. What states do you need? Okay, hopefully I covered that. Again, if I skip anything, I'm sorry. Hey, Darlene, eager to begin the training? Great. Are you still doing your ACA program? John, we're not. Once the Trump administration got in and it became clear that the initiative was to just gut a lot of the federal programs, like what have we've seen in the administration, on top of the fact that the low income subsidy was set to expire at the end of the year, which is the driving force of a lot of these call centers and how they operate, it became a higher risk opportunity. It was already tough because of the cash flow, but it became really difficult to justify in the political uncertainty. So we basically canceled that idea and I've tabled it definitely. I don't plan on coming back to it. That's part of the problem with health insurance in general, whether it's Medicare, ACA. These are political footballs that politicians use to get votes or, help to not have the other guy get voted for. And every 4 years, there's a bit of uncertainty. We've seen it with Medicare. You'll see it. It's sometimes for years it's business friendly, and then it just completely reverts as business unfriendly. We're kind of at the pendulum swinging to the business unfriendly side, along with ACA too. So that's why I like final expense because no, no, don't tell the politicians about this business. We don't want them thinking that, you know, whatever. They're going to screw it up. So it's totally private. The underlying economics of final expense are great. There's more and more old people retiring. There's more and more old people as a percentage of the population. And as you move into the older ages, the mindset shift is in preparation for the end. And so final expense becomes a topic of serious consideration for millions of people, whereas prior it wasn't. So in short, we don't do ACA because of those reasons. All right. I resubmitted my fingerprints a couple days after they rejected. I assume you got them approved, huh? How much is it to join the DIG agency? Skin in the game cost. It's $1,000 joining fee. And then it is around $1,000 and 12 non-resident licenses. You may end up paying less if you already got some of them. And beyond that, the monthly costs are your errors and omissions insurance. And then if you want an insurance toolkits account, which is $35 a month, and E&O is 40, that's it. No more expenses. Okay. If it is not right, will you give release if we decide to leave? Yes. Hey, Janelle. Yes, we will. 100%. Can we hire someone to help us dial and give us the live transfer? No, that doesn't make any sense. It makes sense on paper, but when it doesn't make sense, once you realize the power of our system, it takes about I was looking at a competing organization that does live transfers, and these people have to wait all day long for their transfers. It's just they're sit on their hands, not much is happening. What we have the power of doing is our dialers work independently of the agent in the background. And the average wait time between pickups is around 3 minutes to 5 minutes. So you're on the phone a whole lot of the time that you're waiting for a call. In fact, you're not even dialing. Like if you think about manually doing, you're literally indicating in the system that you're ready to take a call. And then when you hear the beep or the visual sign indicates that someone's on the line, the script pops up on the screen, you start selling. It's just incredible. So it's almost like you are doing a live transfer because you're not sitting there dialing the numbers. It's not, I wouldn't say it's all live transfer. We have some live transfers, sure, but it has the feel of a live transfer system without the typical wait time that you see with some of the other guys. Can you hire? So yeah, no need to hire anybody. Okay. Tamara, I was a passenger to a car accident when I was a teenager. I got showered with glass and cuts all over me. Oh, wow. including my fingers, because I was reaching for the steering wheel to stop the accident. I think that's why my fingerprints got rejected. Yeah, I would call them up and yeah, it sounds like a very unusual case, but give them a call. Give the Department of Insurance in Florida a call for sure. You are welcome, Paul. Jenna says, I was invited for an interview with Senior Life Services and I see mixed reviews. Anything you can share with me as it relates to what you offer? I don't know exactly what they're doing on comp now. Um, Justin Von Eigen is one of their top agencies. He's got a YouTube channel. He knows what he's doing. He's good. Um, they use some of the same carriers we do for sure. Um, I don't really have anything bad to say. I know they're going through a CRM change, and I've heard some grumbling from some of the agents, but that's part of, the advancement of an agency. I really don't have anything that's like negative to say. So, my advice to you, as with anybody else, is do your due diligence. Like we all get excited when something sounds really good, me included. But the truth is, what you have to understand, including myself, we're all on our best behavior on YouTube, on the sales pitches, and the people who are on their best behavior running the companies typically are the best salespeople too, are really good. So before you get head over heels on something, always slowly roll, do your due diligence, think about it, and what I want you to do is sell insurance. This is a great business. It's not for everybody, but it is a great business. But who you partner with makes all the difference. And I would rather you take more time to figure that out so that you don't have to reverse and then fix something that was now broken because you didn't realize that the management sucked and they didn't train well or the leads are terrible, and all that stuff. Because it's harder to take a reverse turn after you get started than it is if you slow down, calm down, and figured out what agency really fit you the best. So I advocate that for myself too. We're not a perfect fit for everybody. And I only want you in here if you feel like we're a perfect fit. So again, this business is great, but a lot of people get a chip on their shoulder, understandably, about the behavior of the business and the people in it and get jaded on it before they even give themselves a chance of success, not knowing that if they had picked the right agency, they would have had a 180 view on things. I really believe that. Okay. When you say the script pop up, do you do possible objection? Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So we'll have our script pop up. And then as they're reading the script, they'll see the objection options on the screen. So they just read them off. Like it's the greatest piece of technology. The dig, and this is the dig dialer. This is also the dialer we use with the free lead system. It's incredible. It just makes the sale. We prior to that, we would have like different screens open and people would have to toggle back and forth as they called or have like 5 monitors, maybe not that many, like 3. But the dialer consolidates a lot of this and makes the sales process easier for sure. Do we need to take a test for every state? No. Hey, Thomas, no, you don't. You just have to pay the government the money they want. It's typical stuff. The government says, license is $10, $100. You just pay them and then boom, you're licensed. As long as you are licensed in your home state, it's a reciprocal licensing that just requires you to pay money. All right. I understand I've been selling health insurance for 5 years. Oh yeah, it's all political. 100%. All right. Questions, y'all. Got about 10 minutes left here before we wrap things up. Let me check the Zoom. Happy to answer any questions you guys have about the agency, about the sales process, about the business, the industry, anything at all. This is a great opportunity to answer your questions. Happy to provide my wisdom, advice, training, support. Again, just to shamelessly plug what we do, of course, because I am a salesperson, as I unapologetically admit. If you are interested in joining the DIG Agency, then I will share my screen to show you what to do next. You're going to go to davidduford.com. This is our homepage. What I really would like you to do first, if you've never been here, or it's been a while since you've been here, is watch this overview video. It's about 30 minutes long. I know it sounds like a lot. You can hit the settings, go speed, and put me at 2x. And then I don't do my drawl as much, and I kind of get to the point faster. I do that with all my videos, by the way. And it will walk through every nuance, most of them, as it relates to working as an agent with the DIG agency or requirements, who it's right for, who it isn't right for. This will answer most of your questions. The next step would be to join the live Q&A if you have any remaining questions. Right now, we do those twice a week. Marty hosts those. He's been with me for 4 or 5 years, several as an agent, 3 as an employee, and he knows everything about the DIG agency. He's a great resource. He'll answer your questions live. And then when you're ready, you can apply officially and click this button, watch this video, and then go through the application process below. Pretty simple. If you'd like some to review some case studies or look at some testimonials, we have them here. Case studies are down here. These are all agents and their success with us. So you can see from quite the diversity of different people in all walks of life. And people have had success working at the DIG agency, which I'm very proud of. And then if you're interested in any of our services, if you don't want to join the DIG agency, but maybe you're interested in our CRM, we do sell that. Also our lead management services to agents or agencies. And then DIG Dialer is digdialer.com. We also sell that too. You don't have to pay for any of this, of course, if you join the DIG agency. Okay. Chat. I got a chat here. Jenna says, is training more the DIG University or live? It's both. There's mock calls, there's role play opportunities. There's a dedicated full-time 10+ year experience telesales manager that will help you on your calls, like literally as you're calling, give you some pro tips and advice, as well as help you review your calls, help you with the fundamentals and basics. It's really good training. And then, of course, Tim Hildebrand, our operations manager, does training as well. And there's one thing that you have to remember is I started my company really in 2013. And part of the reason I did recruiting is because everybody was in the MLM space. They just recruited people to recruit, and the sales training was marginal. It was just this mass cattle call, as it still is for the most part. And so what I wanted to do is create a business that was really based off of training the agent to sell. First and foremost, because very few did that. They wanted to do the MLM thing. So training has always been at the heart of what this agency is about. And that's, I deeply care about that as being the best resource possible for agents, new, experienced, whatever. Hey, Paul, been 1 week since the app finished steps. When will the payments be payable? What payments are you talking about? Please clarify. I'll let you wait on that to answer. Back to the chat up here, YouTube. I'll come back to that in a minute, Paul. Okay. I would like to find out more about your lead program for independent agents. Yeah. Hey, Kareem. I'll mention it really briefly. So what you're talking about is getfeleads.com, FE Leads Direct, or the website is getfeleads.com. I'll put it in the chat. If you guys are interested. This is strictly for agents who move from free leads to broker in the DIG agency, or if you are a separate individual agent or agency not associated with the DIG agency, this is specifically for you. In short, it is our lead system that we do in the free lead program that helped us contribute to almost 8 million in sales in our first full year, with the same exact team doing your marketing for you, using the same style of marketing tricks and techniques. Most of it's done on Facebook. We set it all up for you. Even if you don't have a Facebook account, we'll walk you through how to do that, as well as a business account. We do all of the ads for you. We do all of the management for you. You just literally sit and focus on selling. And then you pay us the money to manage the thing on top of the lead spend every month. Again, if you want more information on pricing and how it works, getfeleads.com. I think that's the right website. Yeah, check that out. And watch that overview video. That'll go into more detail. Do you recommend leaving a voicemail? I get asked this a lot. We really don't leave voicemails. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask Tim about this. He's our director of sales operations manager. Do we leave a VM on our sales calls? If not, why? Okay. Tim will tell us. We probably tested it. We've tested so many things that I can't keep everything straight. But it is something I've been asked of a lot lately, so we'll figure it out. Again, hit the like button, guys, if you're watching this and you haven't already. I would appreciate that. Okay. Are there... Leonard? David, you may have already answered this, but are any of the leads from California? No, because we have leads in California, but no fresh leads for the most part, because the amount of time it takes to get licensed in California is just dumb. And there's no way that we can speed it up. So it was an impediment to our agents getting started. So we just got rid of California from our lineup of states. Tamara says, thank you for the advice. You're welcome. the rejection email that I received showed why they rejected my fingerprints, and it has to be from getting cuts. Yeah. Yeah. There's got to be a way around it. I'm sure. Maybe you could send fingerprint or toe footprints. I mean, think about it. Don't they have like footprints on file when we were born? Like I'm looking at my little girl did footprints like they got to have it's the same thing, isn't it? Like unique for your toes. You offer that. See if Florida will take footprints and then let me know. I'd like to hear that. Hey, Naveed. Happened 40 years ago. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Life insurance. Tried my luck to join your agency more than a year ago. Unfortunately, I was not selected and directed to join other agents, but did not. Yeah, try again, please. Go for it. We have greatly loosened the requirements to join. I'll tell you why. It is a it is a difficult process to hire people who match ideally what it is that you want. It's an art and a science, and nothing upsets me more than seeing a good agent apply with us to go work for my competition, and then I see their success video, like, and I pull out my hair, of which there's very little left because I'm old and 40. And so what we decided to do is just instead of like qualifying agents and coming up with these processes that we're not even sure work, we just said, look, we'll take more people. We'll just require them to pay a joining fee that actually affords us to spend more money on them to keep them longer in our system, to give them more training versus what we had before where we would have to make cuts faster. And as long as you're not a jerk or an ass, then you know everybody can have a chance to join. We do not tolerate people who are intolerable to be around. So if you think you're that person, go away. Work somewhere else. We're nice people at the DIG Agency. All right. Questions in the chat here. All right, Paul. Been 1 week since the application. Finished steps. When will the payments be payable? Did you get the invitation to join? If you got the invitation to join, man, go ahead and just follow through, and all of that should be there. You can pay the joining fee and all that stuff. Rear of eye optic blood vessel. Really? Oh yeah, I guess that's why you do like eye scans, like in sci-fi. Yeah, okay. Email Marty, Paul. Do you have Marty's email? Contact him, man. He'll help you out. Marty at defordig.com. I'll throw it in the chat here, just in case. He's your point person. There we go. I am really old at 60. I put that part in there. I'm just kidding. Does age matter? No, no, not at all. We have a number of guys and gals that are over 50 and definitely over 60. I used to have an agent who was in his 80s for years, and he would sell, and he finally quit at like 85, but he would sell more than these ambitious yet lazy 20-year-olds that are all over the place. So age doesn't matter. The key thing is, are you going to work? Some people are retired and they're bored, and they really don't have the ambition to really work because they don't have to. So if that's you, well, come aboard and work. If you're an ambitious and hardworking 6-year-old, I don't care what age, sex, race you are, this is open to everybody. Come make money. We need more of you. I don't care where you're from, who you are, and all that nonsense. Okay. Deborah, how long does it take an agent to get paid commission after signing? It depends. Typically within a couple of weeks, you're going to get paid. So we have 2 pay cycles a month. The first or the 15th. Any business that we get paid on, you get paid on the 22nd of the month. And any business between the 16th and the end of the month that the company gets paid on, you get paid on the 8th of the month. So there seems to be like a little draw up period because some of these companies pay a little later than immediately the day that you write the business. So it's a little slower in the first pay cycle, but by the second and third, it catches up, and then the pay is where you think it should be because you've got a little pipeline being built. Okay. Any final questions here before we wrap it up? Last chance. Give you guys a few seconds. Again, daviddufour.com. I'll throw it in the chat again. Of course, you guys want to know where to get the goods, where to join the agency. daviddufour.com is where you want to go. There's Orlando. Hey, Orlando. I'm 60. I'm a retired lawyer, and this business has allowed me not to spend my retirement and, oh, your retirement money you've saved. And now I am building a senior benefits firm that will one day be high res, high six figures. Yeah. I think you switched to Medicare a couple years ago, right, Orlando? I think you were doing final expense at one point with us and then went to Medicare. So yeah, this business is good. That's what's cool about it. Like you don't have to be a pedigreed person or have connections or even experience. Like this is a really ground floor opportunity to come in and help people. There is a tremendous volume of people that need help when it comes to their life insurance, and there just isn't enough people to help them. And there's not enough ambitious people out there to help the volume of people that is capable of being helped. So for the person that wants to come in and apply themselves, there's grand and great opportunity. But with that said, I don't want to oversell this. I mean, it does take time to build your business. Um, for me, the inflection point was probably about year 4 or 5 because of all the mistakes that I made. We all make mistakes. I failed out of the business at 12 months, but I just refused to quit because I knew after I got a job after I quit, I was like, man, I don't want a job. This is even worse. I'm not going to go anywhere in this job. I have no control over my career or my destiny. And so I got back into it, admitting the faults that I made and corrected them. But for me, the real income started hitting about 4 or 5 years in as an agent, and then really about 10 years in running my agency. So this is a get rich on a slower basis type of business model for sure. But the business is absolutely out there if you want to have it. It's just that we all have lessons to learn, and there's just no way around it. We like to say, oh, that old saying is, what is the old saying? It's like, you got to make mistakes to learn, but smart people learn from people who've already made mistakes. And there's some truth to that. But the reality is, we all have some level of ego and beliefs that we have to test and then fail at and then hopefully learn from. And the quicker the process of learning from our mistakes, the better. And I would say embrace the fact that you're going to make mistakes. Be okay that you're going to make mistakes. Even when everything's perfect, you're still going to make mistakes. It's how you deal with those mistakes that separates you over time from the pack. Um, I am not the best agent. I've always been a good agent, but what's always separated me is I've soberly looked at the challenges in my business, fixed them, as well as I always outworked 98% of the agents out there. And that was the thing that I always fell back. That's why I talk a lot about the workload, because there are very talented agents out there who just won't work 25, 30 hours. They make enough money and they go home, and that more power to them. God bless them, as I say. But for me, I was never a pro to the level that many agents are out there. And so I had to make up for it with just working more than the other guy. We're talking 5, 6 days a week, 60 hours. And I was committed to the process because I knew what the other option was, which was failure or mediocrity or never getting ahead or having the life that I dreamt of. So I would advise you guys out there, think like I did. Assume you're not the best. You may be good, but assume you're not. Assume you're average. What would you do different if you just had average skill sets to overcome the learning curve and the difficulties of this business, which take out 95% of the agents in the first year? Also have to consider that too. I'd rather talk to you soberly like this about the realities than make up a story that everybody's going to be successful if you just press a button. Money flows from the sky endlessly. No, it's not like that. You really have to try hard. You got to manage your emotions, and you have to be humble and be willing to take correction and put the time in. When you explain the dig dial, it sounded like a live transfer. It sounds like a live transfer, Stephen, but it isn't. I mean, it can be. You can set up live transfers, but the beauty in it is in its outbound capabilities, and it seems and works as if it's live transfer because you're not dialing anything. You don't see a bunch of dialers. It all happens in the background, and when somebody's on the line, you just start pitching. It's a beautiful thing. All right. Carriers, we work with about 4 or 5 carriers that we have with agents. We have 2, American Amicable and American Home Life, that are our primary carriers. Trinity, Mutual of Omaha, and Seeker are like backup carriers, but we want most, if not all of the business as much as possible with those first 2 carriers, American Amicable and American Home Life. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Hope you enjoyed this live AMA. Next week, I'm going to be gone. I have a spring break trip to go on with the fam. So I'll be back in 2 weeks from today to do another one of these. Also, if you guys are interested, we have a ton of free training like this, deep dive training, my books for free, my $1 million a month telesales final expense script that we use in our free lead agency. You can find that all for free at daviddufour.com/ISS. You don't have to buy anything to join. It's completely free. We have over 10,000 members, around 400 or 500 join every single month. So it's a great program to learn the business, to get more training if you like this kind of stuff, and to really level up your chances of success, which I'm most concerned with. You're welcome, Dean. How does one get knowledgeable about the carrier products? We just have training on it as you get into it. There's training guides, video tutorials, application walkthroughs that better understand everything. Okay, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next time. Y'all take care.